Hey there, my dear viewer. Come closer, let me whisper this story into your ear like a secret shared between old friends. I'm pulling back the curtain on a part of my life that shattered me, rebuilt me, and ultimately set me free. If you've ever felt trapped in a role that doesn't fit, or wondered what it would be like to step into someone else's shoes, literally, then lean in. Feel the fear that choked me, the curiosity that tempted me, the excitement that thrilled me, the embarrassment that burned, and the empowerment that lifted me higher than I ever thought possible. This is my journey, raw and real, and I'm sharing it with you because maybe, just maybe, it'll spark something in your own heart. Let's walk this path together, step by step, heartbeat by heartbeat. It started on what should have been an ordinary Saturday morning, the kind where sunlight filters through half-closed blinds, casting lazy patterns on the bedroom floor, and the smell of fresh coffee wafts from the kitchen downstairs. Mark, the typical suburban husband, 32 years old, a mid-level accountant with a beer gut starting to form and a habit of taking my wife for granted, rolled out of bed with a groan, my head throbbing from last night's argument. Sarah and I had been fighting more lately. My late nights at the office, or so I claimed, had her suspicious, and truthfully she had every right to be. I'd been seeing someone on the side, a coworker named Lisa, and the guilt was eating at me, but not enough to stop. That morning, Sarah was already up, humming in the kitchen as if nothing had happened. "Morning, honey," she called sweetly as I shuffled in, rubbing sleep from my eyes. She handed me a mug of coffee, her smile too bright, too perfect. I took a sip, the bitter warmth sliding down my throat, and mumbled a thanks before plopping down at the table to scroll through my phone. But something felt off almost immediately. A strange warmth spread through my body, starting in my stomach and radiating outward, like I'd swallowed liquid fire. My vision blurred for a second and I shook my head thinking it was just a hangover. "You okay, Mark?" Sarah asked, her voice laced with concern that didn't reach her eyes. I nodded, but then the room spun and I gripped the table edge. What's in this coffee?" I croaked, my voice cracking unnaturally high. She leaned against the counter, arms crossed, her expression shifting to one of cold satisfaction. "Oh, just a little something special. Remember how you said you'd change? Well, now you will, literally." Panic hit me like a truck as my skin tingled, a prickling sensation everywhere. I stumbled to the bathroom mirror, the tiled floor cold under my bare feet, and stared in horror. My face. It was changing. Cheeks softening, jawline rounding, lips plumping into a fuller pout. My stubble receded like melting snow, leaving smooth, flawless skin. "No, this can't be," I whispered, my voice now a soft soprano, feminine and unfamiliar. I tore off my shirt, watching in disbelief as my chest swelled, forming small but unmistakable breasts, sensitive and aching. My waist cinched in, hips widening with a creak of bones that made me gasp in pain. Hair lengthened, cascading in dark waves down my back. Down below, the changes were even more intimate, more violating. A shrinking, reshaping that left me reeling, tears streaming down my altered face. Fear clawed at my chest, suffocating. "Sarah!" I screamed, bursting back into the kitchen, but my voice was a woman's cry, high and desperate. She laughed, a sound I'd never heard from her, bitter, triumphant. "That's for every lie, every night you spent with her. I found the emails, Mark. Or should I say, Marissa? That's your new name. The drug I slipped you? It's experimental, permanent. Hormones on steroids, mixed with some nanotech I got from a shady contact. You're going to be the perfect housewife now, just like you always said I should be." Disbelief warred with terror. This had to be a nightmare. I lunged for my phone to call for help, but she snatched it away. "Oh no, sweetie. You're staying home today. And every day." Curiosity flickered amid the horror. What did I look like fully? But mostly it was shock, a numb paralysis as I collapsed into a chair, sobbing. Sarah patted my head mockingly. "Get used to it. Your old life. Gone." The world tilted and I blacked out, waking hours later in our bed, dressed in one of her nightgowns, the silk soft against my new skin. The transformation was complete and my nightmare had just begun. The days that followed were a whirlwind of disruption, my once familiar life fracturing under the weight of this new body. I couldn't leave the house at first. Sarah had locked away my wallet, keys, even my male clothes. "You're Marissa now," she decreed, handing me a stack of her old outfits. Skirts, blouses, heels. "Work." I called in sick, my voice trembling over the phone as I tried to deepen it. But my boss, Mr. Jenkins, sounded confused. Mark? Found different. Like a woman. Everything all right. I mumbled about a cold and hung up, heart racing. By Monday, I had no choice but to email my resignation, claiming a family emergency. Sarah watched over my shoulder, smirking. Good girl. Now time to learn your new role. The house became my prison, chores my punishment. Vacuuming in a floral apron, the fabric swishing against my legs, made me burn with embarrassment. My new curves jiggled uncomfortably, a constant reminder. Friends called, worried. My buddy Dave texted, "Dude, where you been? Poker night without you sucks." I replied vaguely, busy with family stuff, but Sarah monitored everything. "Tell them you're moving on," she insisted. Family was worse. My sister, Emily, dropped by unannounced that week, knocking insistently. Sarah answered and I hid in the kitchen, peeking through the crack. "Mark's not here," Sarah said smoothly. "He's away on business." Emily frowned. "But his car's in the driveway." Sarah shrugged. "Oh, that's mine now. He's using a rental." Emily left, but not before glancing around suspiciously. Later, on a video call with my parents, I stayed off camera, claiming technical issues. "Mark sounds funny," Mom said. "You got a sore throat, son?" Dad grunted, "Man up, boy." The confusion gnawed at me, fear of discovery mixed with embarrassment at my high-pitched excuses. Social tension built everywhere. The grocery delivery guy stared when I answered the door in a simple dress Sarah forced me into, his eyes lingering on my figure. Ma'am? This for Mark." I nodded mutely, cheeks flaming, snatching the bags and slamming the door. Whispers from neighbors as I took out the trash. "Who's the new woman at the Johnsons?" one said. "Looks like Sarah's sister or something." Inside, emotional struggle raged. Fear of Sarah's wrath if I rebelled. She'd threatened to expose photos of my transformation online. Embarrassment at my reflection, the way pants no longer fit over my hips. Confusion about the subtle thrill when the dress hugged my waist just right. This isn't me, I thought, but doubt crept in. What if it could be? Alone one evening while Sarah was out celebrating her freedom, I gave in to the secret exploration that had been building like a storm. The house was quiet, the living room lit by a single lamp, shadows dancing on the walls adorned with our wedding photos, mocking reminders of the man I used to be. I locked the doors, drew the blinds tight, the fabric rustling softly, and headed to the bedroom. Standing before the full-length mirror in the walk-in closet, surrounded by Sarah's perfumes and hanging dresses, I stripped slowly, the air cool on my transformed skin. My body was undeniably feminine. Smooth legs, rounded hips, breasts that heaved with each nervous breath, nipples perking in the chill. "What am I doing?" I whispered, voice soft and melodic. But curiosity won a magnetic pull. I started with clothes from Sarah's drawer. A lacy bra, black and delicate, the underwire cupping me perfectly as I fastened the hooks with trembling fingers. The sensation was electric, supportive yet sensual, sending shivers down my spine. Panties next, silk sliding up my thighs, hugging my new contours intimately, the fabric whispering secrets. Sensory overload hit. The scent of lavender from the lingerie, the soft tug as I adjusted the straps. Internal dialogue raced. "This is humiliating, but look how it fits. Feels nice." Excitement bubbled as I slipped into a red dress, knee-length with a flared skirt, zipper purring up my back. It accentuated everything. The curve of my waist, the swell of my chest. Heels followed, strappy sandals that made my legs look endless, the click on the hardwood floor echoing my heartbeat. Makeup was tentative. I'd watched Sarah apply hers countless times. Sitting at her vanity, mirror ringed with lights, I dabbed foundation, blending it over my flawless skin, the creamy texture cool and even. Lipstick in crimson, gliding on with a waxy smoothness, making my lips full and kissable. Eyeliner, a shaky line at first, then bolder, defining my eyes. Mascara lengthened lashes I'd never noticed. "Marissa," I practiced, voice pitching naturally feminine, a sultry tone emerging. Incremental discoveries thrilled. How swaying hips felt natural in heels, how jewelry, a necklace dangling between my breasts, added sparkle. Behavior shifted. I posed, twirled, the dress flaring like a flower blooming. Curiosity deepened into excitement, a forbidden rush. What if I cook dinner like this? I ventured downstairs, apron over the dress, chopping vegetables with graceful motions. The embarrassment faded slightly, replaced by a spark of something empowering. But as Sarah's key turned in the lock, panic returned. I stripped frantically, hiding the evidence. That night, lying in bed, the thrill lingered, a seed planted. Weeks turned into personal growth through cautious experimentation. Weekends my escape when Sarah left 4 girls' nights, that stung with irony. First, a solo walk in the backyard at dusk, dressed in a sundress, the grass tickling my painted toes. No one saw, but the breeze on my legs excited me, anxiety blending with comfort. This feels free, I thought. Small victories built. Grocery shopping alone, Sarah finally allowing it with a warning. In jeans and a blouse, feminine but casual, I navigated aisles, heart pounding. A stranger, an elderly man, smiled. "Need help with that bag, miss?" "Mississippi." The word thrilled, confidence inching up. Interactions grew, chatting with the cashier about recipes, her compliment, "Love your hair," making me blush with pride. Anxiety spiked at near misses, like spotting a neighbor ducking behind shelves. But excitement dominated during outings. A coffee shop, sipping latte as Marissa, reading a book, feeling invisible yet seen positively. Social events tentative. A local market, browsing stalls in a skirt, haggling with vendors who treated me as any woman. Internal shift profound, comfort in the persona, old Mark's assertiveness softening into Alexa's, wait, Marissa's, grace. Blending old habits with new, analyzing budgets while manicuring nails. Weekends expanded. Park picnics alone, dress billowing, sun warming my skin. Each step lessened anxiety, heightened excitement, forging a new self. The climax exploded one fateful evening, conflict escalating to a breaking point. Sarah hosted a dinner party, her friends oblivious to my plight. "You'll serve as the maid," she hissed, dressing me in a frilly uniform, short skirt exposing thighs, apron tied tight. Humiliation burned as guests arrived, their laughter filling the house. "Who's this lovely helper?" one woman asked. Sarah smirked. "Oh, just Marissa, our new housekeeper." I poured wine with shaking hands, voice demure. "More, ma'am." Whispers followed. "She's cute." "Sarah, where'd you find her?" Tension mounted as Dave, my old friend, showed up unexpectedly. Sarah had invited him cruelly. His eyes widened seeing me. "Mark? Is that you?" The room fell silent. Emotional struggle peaked. Hide or confront? Fear of exposure warred with rising anger. "Yes, it's me," I said, voice steady, dropping the tray with a crash. "Sarah did this, revenge for my affair." Gasps echoed. Sarah lunged. "Liar. He's delusional." But Dave pulled me aside. "Dude. Marissa. We need to talk." Pivotal decision. I chose truth, ripping off the apron. "No more hiding. This is me now, and I'm done being your puppet." Resolution surged, empowering beyond imagination. I left that night with Dave's help, crashing at his place. "We'll fix this," he said, but as days passed I realized I didn't want to. The changes were permanent, but so was my growth. I filed for divorce, Sarah's revenge backfiring as evidence of her tampering surfaced. Acceptance came. New job as Marissa, administrative assistant, confidence shining in interviews. Supportive interactions bloomed. Dave became an ally. "You're badass, Marissa." Chosen family formed. Therapy groups for transformations, sharing stories, hugs affirming. Positive transformation. Thriving alone in a cozy apartment, cooking gourmet meals in heels, dating tentatively, feeling desired. Empowerment in every sway, every decision. Reflecting now, this revenge forged my authenticity from fire. Courage isn't avoiding pain, it's rising through it. If you're trapped, know. Self-acceptance awaits. Embrace your truth, it's your greatest power. You're not alone, shine on.